Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here, and well, the hits just keep on coming. Right after finishing that video about the graphical updates coming to the Coldwind Farm maps, Dead by Daylight tweeted out 2 hours later all of the information that's going to be contained in the mid-chapter patch with this tweet here: Corn Killers and Perks. It's not a weird band name, it's this month's developer update. Find out everything coming to this week's PTB. This week, I knew it was going to be a Tuesday coming soon. A little did I know it was going to be this soon. Apparently, it's tomorrow. So let's go check out and see what's going to be in the PTB. By the way, PTB stands for Public Test Build. And if you play the game on Steam, you can access this public test build and try out the changes that are coming in the mid-chapter patch early. You don't get to save any of your progress when you're in the PTB, but it allows you to see and get a feel for what the changes that are coming to Dead by Daylight are going to be. I'm certainly going to be there tomorrow because I want to see firsthand these new maps and everything else. So clicking the link takes us to the official Dead by Daylight forums, and we're greeted with this developer update from April 2021 written by our dev/community manager Peanuts. We're back with another developer update, a series of posts going over the biggest changes coming to Dead by Daylight. This time around, we'll cover a long list of killer, perk, and quality of life updates that'll appear in the upcoming player test build. Killer updates: the Nightmare, that's Freddy Krueger, for those who are unaware. For some time, the Nightmare has stood out from the crowd with a particularly high kill rate, averaging roughly 3 kills per match. With that in mind, we've made some slight tweaks to bring him closer in line with the rest of the roster. We've decreased his movement speed while placing a snare to 4 meters per second. Previously, there was no speed change and he was 4.6 meters per second. And reduced the maximum number of placed snares from 8 down to 5. Likewise, the maximum number of dream pallets have been reduced from 10 down to 7. A handful of add-ons have also received changes. Add-ons which previously reduced action speeds. So those are those Forever Freddy builds where they brought the jump rope and swing chains, things like that. Dresses as well, I believe. They will now make various actions louder, repairing generators, grunts of pain, and footsteps. Black Box also has a brand new effect. When an exit gate is opened, it is blocked for sleeping survivors for the next 10 seconds. Interesting. Alarm clocks have also received some tweaks to make their effects clearer and more rewarding. Using an alarm clock will now make you fully immune to sleep, including sleep caused by a killer hit, for 30 seconds. Wow. This effect is now shown on the HUD by turning your sleep timer yellow and having it tick down. Very interesting. With these changes, we hope to promote more strategic use of his dream traps rather than placing them constantly during a chase, as well as encouraging survivors to seek out and use their alarm clocks. We'll monitor his performance closely and adjust where necessary going forward. I like it. I play Freddy a lot, but I still think those are fair changes. Demogorgon. Our focus for the Demogorgon is to give it more mobility with its portals. We've made the following changes to base portals: increased speed while in a portal, and reduced cooldown after exiting a portal. Also increased undetectable length after exiting a portal. That's scary. On top of these changes, we've done a complete pass on the Demogorgon's add-ons to make some of the lesser used ones more appealing. Lifeguard Whistle. Survivors near activated portals are indicated by Killer Instinct without having to charge of the Abyss. Wow, that's very interesting. So before you had to charge of the Abyss and look around, now you're just going to see it. That's a very interesting change. Rotten Pumpkin. When traversing the Upside Down, the portal you enter is destroyed. Gain an additional 200 blood points for the traversal. So this is like the padded jaws and the chainsaw add-ons that don't one-shot down people. Just a weakened version. You're giving yourself a penalty and getting blood points rewarded for it. So that's interesting. Okay, the Huntress. Here we go. Don't panic. We've not changed the Huntress base kit. We have, however, done a pass on her add-ons to bring them up to modern standards. Yes, this includes the infamous iridescent head. So every killer is supposed to have 2 iridescent add-ons. The Huntress only had 1, I believe, right? So Soldier's Putty. A wrap taken from a dead soldier. It provides protection and support to the ankle and lower leg. The Huntress moves at 4.6 meters per second when she has no hatchets. That's a very interesting ultra rare add-on, because Huntress is a 4.4 meter per second killer all the time. So if she's out of hatchets, that's going to increase her base speed and allow her to catch up to people on loops. That's very interesting. All right, iridescent head. Here we go. Glass-like hatchet, head molded from the fog itself. Inflicts dying state upon the victim. Yes, that's the same. Caps maximum carried hatchets at 1, regardless of the effects of other add-ons. Wow. So before, you would be able to use some of the add-ons that allowed you to increase your carrying capacity, but now that's going to be stuck at 1 all the time. That makes it very interesting. Twins too. Last but not least, we have a small set of tweaks for the twins. Increase the cooldown after successfully downing a survivor with Victor from 3 to 5 seconds. Okay, so that's gonna give, if there's 2 people nearby, that's gonna give a bigger window for somebody to kick Victor after he downs somebody. I think that's what that says, right? Camera control is now immediately restored when taking control of Charlotte. Silencing cloth. Increase the undetectable duration to 20 seconds upon taking control of Charlotte. And the iridescent pendant. Increase the exposed duration to 30 seconds when a survivor crushes an idle victor. Oh no! Wow. Okay. I see you. I like that you're making some changes. Very interesting. Okay, now we're going into perk updates. Okay, perk updates. The first perk on the list is Small Game. It has come to our attention that some of you really hate small piles of bones. So to aid you in your totem destroying mission, we've made some long requested changes to Small Game. Small Game now shows the number of remaining totems as tokens on the perk. That's something that's been requested for a long time. A totem counter. I'm not completely sold on that idea. I kind of prefer like a yes or no, whether all the totems have been cleansed or not, rather than telling you the specific amount of totems that are left. But we'll see how it goes. I kind of like the Wheel of Fortune approach, if you will. Like, they don't tell you how many vowels are left in the puzzle. They just tell you when there are no more vowels in the puzzle. So I kind of like the idea of it just saying all totems are cleansed indicator. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. The detection range decreases by 5 degrees for each totem cleanse. So the way Small Game works is you have a 45-degree cone in front of you, and it'll ping when you get a totem in that cone. So if it's going to decrease by 5 degrees for each totem cleanse, when you're down to 1 totem, it's going to be down to, what, a 25-degree cone by the end. Small Game no longer detects killer traps. So Small Game would also give you pings if there were hag traps or trapper traps around. So sometimes you'd get a false positive when you're thinking that you were looking for a totem, but it was actually a killer trap. I used to be Small Game was like part of my base kit all the time. I used to relish in cleansing ruins for my team constantly, and I was actually trying to go up on the leaderboard for most hex totems cleansed, but once ruin got changed, I just put that perk aside. I ran Small Game so much that I actually had a Streamloots card on my stream that people could give me false pings for Small Game alerts, but with the ruin change, I just put it by the wayside. We'll see. Maybe we'll bring it back in now. These changes improve Small Game's ability to track and cleanse totems while also removing the antiquated part that only applies to specific killers with traps. It would also let you know when a pallet was fake against Freddy, but oftentimes the pallets would be so close to one another that you couldn't really tell which pallet was fake if one was real and one was fake to make use of it, but that part's going to be taken out. Next perk we have is Lucky Break. Now hides scratch marks in addition to blood pools to help you lose the killer. To compensate, the total duration has been reduced down to maximum 90 seconds. That's very interesting. Soul Guard. A small change here. Soul Guard now has a cooldown of 30 seconds after activating. Realistically, this won't affect the vast majority of cases. This change is to purely prevent stacking healing speeds and Soul Guard from getting out of hand. So I guess if you came in with like an autodidact and you were just quick healing somebody, and then they would have Soul Guard over and over. Open-handed. Okay, so this was supposed to be upgraded in the last PTB, but it never made it to the build. So let's see. Take 2 for open-handed. We've slotted this update back in for the upcoming PTB. Open-handed now has an increased effect of up to 16 meters, but no longer stacks with itself. This makes the perk more appealing on its own without needing to stack it with other survivors in the match. Zanshin Tactics, a very straightforward change. Zanshin Tactics is now permanently active and also has a larger range. Borrowed Time, ooh. To remove some confusing intricacies with how Borrowed Time interacts with some killers and the Oblivious status effect, we have removed the Terror Radius condition from the perk. Wow. To compensate, we have reduced the duration of the Endurance effect to up to 12 seconds maximum. So there were killers that you just couldn't get a Borrowed Time on, like a tier 1 Myers, or a Cloaked Wraith, or Freddy. If you were asleep, there would be no heartbeat, no terror radius. So if you were running into a hook and Freddy hit you and then you lost terror radius, Freddy was very strong against Borrowed Time. So that is also going to be an additional negative change towards Freddy. That's something that I've called for a long time. So it's going to be just how close the killer is, regardless of terror radius. Very interesting. Object of Obsession. The PTB also features the newly reworked Object of Obsession. Anytime your aura is revealed to the killer, their aura is revealed to you and gain a 6% bonus to healing, repairing, and cleansing speed. If you are the Obsession, your aura is revealed to the killer for 3 seconds every 30 seconds. Wow, that's going to be interesting. This new version has a few benefits: being able to track the killer, being able to deduce which aura reading perks the killer is using when Object of Obsession activates, and being able to attract the killer and then sneak away before they can get there. So anytime your aura is revealed to the killer. So if you are healing and then you can suddenly see the killer, then you can deduce that they have nurses calling, etc. That's interesting. With these changes, we hope to make Object of Obsession a more fun and interactive perk for both sides. Bravo. Applause on that one. That's that perk has been a bane in the side of many a killer. It's nice to see a change. Miscellaneous balance. Toolboxes. The chance to receive a skill check while using a toolbox has been increased. This change makes toolboxes feel more interactive while they're in use, and is totally not because the lead designer had a skill check challenge and got unlucky 3 matches in a row. Okay. Hatches, another small tweak. We've decreased the time the hatch remains open after a key is used from 30 seconds down to 10 seconds. Like before, if the hatch closes naturally, if it's not kicked shut, then the endgame collapse will not start. So if it's just open for 10 seconds and reshuts, no EGC. Please note, this is not the final change keys we'll be receiving. We'll share more info on the future of keys as soon as we can. Very good. Wow, this is just chock full of information, isn't it? The heads-up display update for 4.7 PTB. We've made some more changes to the HUD. This time focusing on the visibility of killer powers on the survivor portraits. In this update, we've made improvements to the Doctor's Madness effect, also made it easier to differentiate between the levels of madness, the Nightmare's Dream World effect and the Sleep Timer, the Plague's Infection Meter, and the Stalk Meters and Ghost Faces mark. Additionally, we've also adjusted the survivor portraits so they no longer obstruct the bottom of power indicators. Very good. Struggle update. This was something I was going to make a separate video about, but since it's in here, we'll just read it then. Struggle update. In an ongoing effort to improve accessibility, we've changed the way struggling works starting in the PTB. Rather than needing to mash a button, survivors in their second hook stage will now receive occasional skill checks. The success zones are fairly large, as we're not looking to make struggling more difficult or deadly at this time. Missing one of these skill checks will remove a chunk of your struggle meter. If you do not attempt to hit 2 consecutive skill checks, you will be immediately sacrificed. Wow! As you receive skill checks, your struggle meter will gradually decrease at the same rate as before. Our goal with this change is to make struggling more accessible to players with repetitive strain injuries while keeping struggling as an interactive mechanic. Yeah, I've heard many people say that, you know, their fingers are cramping hitting these buttons, or they're wearing out their keyboards pressing spacebar over and over. So I like this skill check change here. And you're also still able to sacrifice yourself on hook just by missing 2 skill checks in a row. There was some discussion about that before, about you wouldn't be able to, if you were like, there was only one other survivor besides you on the hook, you wouldn't be able to concede and give yourself up and give that last remaining survivor a chance to get the hatch. So this will you'll still have that as an option. You're just going to have to wait for 2 of these skill checks to go. So these are going to be skill checks similar to the ones you get in the cage with Pyramid Head, it sounds like to me. All right. And then finally, we've got this graphical update for the Coldwind Farm, which we just went over in the video earlier today. I was going to put a funny intro here, but it was too corny. In case you missed it, the next realm slated for a graphical update is the Coldwind Farm. Check out some concept art from the upcoming rework. I mean, these aren't concepts. These are in-game renders, I believe, right? I think. I don't know. On that note, we've reached the end of this developer update. All these changes mentioned above will be available for testing in this week's player test build starting April the 13th. That's tomorrow. We look forward to reading your feedback once you've had a chance to try them all out. Well, I guess I'm going to have to set my alarm, get up early, and check this out, because I can't wait to get into all this stuff. Whew. I mean, they're delivering what they said they were going to do. They promised that the next 3 killers that they were going to do a pass-through on were Freddy, the Huntress, and Demogorgon, and they went even beyond that with some tweaks to the twins too. So that's very exciting. And there's also changes coming in the next patch for Trickster too, they said, to make his speed a little more forgiving when the slowdown speed comes in with throwing knives. So this looks like it's going to be a humdinger of a mid-chapter patch, and I can't wait to share it all with you tomorrow on that PTB. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so very much, as always, for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell so you get notifications of future videos. And as always, don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.